Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to talk to you guys. I was watching the Ayalla new videos she put up, her new live stream. Ayalla, the one that was friends with Billy, the girl that was in a relationship with Onision and Laineybot. Well, I'm listening to the things that she said, and do you know what came to my mind? Yes. Do you remember Karla Homolka and her husband Paul? Way back in like 1991 or 92 in Canada, this couple got married. He was 26 and I believe she was in her early 20s. Well, anyway, they got married and they look like the, perfect couple, very attractive couple, like they may be going somewhere. He had a college degree. Karla's family was really happy and welcoming this guy into their family, not knowing they were welcoming a psychopath into their home. Not only that, they must have never noticed that their own daughter must have had psychopathic tendencies. Paul was really upset and saying he wanted a virgin and this and that and the other thing, and Karla was not when they got together. But her 15-year-old little sister was. So they came up with this plan that they were going to have her little sister get intoxicated. They were going to dope her up a little. And they were going to have their way with her while she was passed out and videotape it. Well, honey, that went wrong. And the girl started choking. They had to call EMS. And she ended up not making it. All while Karla's family was right upstairs. Well, they never had an idea that's what happened. They always thought that it was due to the partying. Alcohol poisoning is real, people. Or the little girl was so intoxicated that she just choked on her own vomit. Now, just before Paul and Carla got married, a little girl's body was found and no one knew what happened. And after that, another young girl's body was found. So, when it all came together and it all came out in the wash, it turned out that Paul was actually a serial rapist. He was the Scarborough rapist. And Karla eventually found out. She knew it. She helped him while he attacked and did things to these girls before he did away with them. Little girls. Like 14 and 15 years old. They were little girls. How sick is that? Well, all I could think about was, oh, that's sick. Why do I keep thinking of them after I listened to Ayalla? Well, take a little listen to what Ayalla says, and then you'll know why. It just struck in my mind.
Onision has a very long history of contacting underage girls. Shiloh was underage when he found her. Lainey was underage when he found her. Billy was contacted by Lainey when she was freshly 18, which means that Lainey was aware of Billy before she was 18. And it's a little horrifying to watch, because when I went up to visit Greg and Lainey with Billy, my best friend, who I'm sure everybody knows who that is already, no need to explain. There was a young woman there who was essentially their foster daughter. They had filed for legal guardianship of her, and she admitted to me that whenever they first started talking, her and Lainey, that that they had previous discussions where they were flirting back and forth, where they had discussed being in a relationship in the future potentially, and she admitted this to me at 15, which means that these conversations that they had happened previous to that, even younger than when she was 15. It was very...
Now, do we have proof that this minor had said these things? You know, is there proof floating around of this? I haven't seen it. You guys let me know if you have. And please don't go by what Joy Sparkle says.
Obvious to me at the time that this was a very weird situation, and, you know, having filed for their legal guardianship, they had moved her into their house for her schooling.
Now, Ayalla now seems like back then she was concerned about what was going on. However, did she contact Child Protective Services or the minor's parents? Did she make any steps to ensure that the minor was safe, considering she's saying now she was concerned about it?
And they clearly, I think, have, was it discussed whether she would date just Lainey or Lainey and Greg when this happened? So, the issue with Greg and Lainey is Greg is a much older man. He is in his 30s, and Lainey is a very young, she's very young in her 20s. And so Greg is already a decade older than his current wife now.
I get it. Ayalla's making this point that Greg is a decade older than Laineybot. However, in the eyes of the law, whether we like it or not, Laineybot is just as responsible what goes on in that house as he is. Now, it's a little difficult for me because it appears that she's struggling with some identity issues at the moment. Well, actually, for a while. You know, she changes what she wants to be identified as. She's changing her name. So it's a confusing time for her, and she appears to be a person that's in need of some kind of assistance. So, you know, you can take that into consideration. However, I don't believe that the law would. But let's go on and see what Ayalla has to say.
And I think that after, you know, he had this very long history of contacting underage girls, I think that he sort of aged out of being able to pull off that sort of thing. And Greg now encourages Lainey to reach out to young women, and he encourages her to speak to these young girls or try to date them, and they collectively try to bring out these girls to their home. I've had a lot of people come forward. Shannon Taylor came forward and said that they, previous to Billy, tried to fly her out and offer her a bunch of like fancy VIP things to come and sort of coerce her into being them. And it's pretty, I think, scary. But the things that I witnessed in their home were a little terrifying. I realized very quickly when I met Greg that he asked a lot of prying questions to try to get more information about me and my life, or anything that I could have gone through that would make me a little more vulnerable. And he even emailed me once 2 years after even seeing him in person, essentially no context. We were not in contact at the time, asking me about my own abuse and asking me in a very manipulative way to explain to him the things that happened to me when I was a child. And it was very obvious to me, even though they had never tried to pursue a relationship with me, that they actively look for women who have trauma in their past or abuse in their past.
Now, you know, all of this, of course, is claims made by Ayalla. I haven't seen any proof of anything. I do know certain things, we all do, because Greg puts them out there himself. Onision likes to put things on the internet, which goes back to my previous video. What's real and what's not? How much, you know, are Greg and Lainey really so sinister? Or are they, you know, just swingers trying to do their thing? They're confused. They don't know. Did they really try to help this girl? You know, is it possible the minor's telling stories? Yeah, it is. Do we know for sure? No, we don't. We do know that Greg likes him young. He's said it himself. We do know that he was raiding bodies, which he shouldn't have. You know, if you dig a hole deep enough, eventually you're going to fall in flat on your face. Now, he's got all these legal issues. You know, Repsion made the video disclosing certain information about him. You know, the guy's losing a lot of money. He's that whole back in the day with Billy and all that. You know, it was crazy. Here's my thoughts. Now, I'm not judging people that, you know, want to have extra partners or whatever. I'm not. What I'm saying is, do I think it would ever work out? No, not if you're married. I absolutely do not. I, in my own opinion, think if you try to pull other people in to your marriage, that's not going to work. I've never seen it work. Do you know anybody that has worked out? Somebody eventually is going to feel slighted, feel like they're not getting enough attention, feel like somebody cares about somebody else more than them. I can't see it working. And why get married in the first place? It just doesn't make sense to me. It really, truly doesn't. And like I said before, that's for your own self-gratification. You're not thinking about any children that are involved, and no one can say that the children would not be involved and they wouldn't know. They really would. So are you willing to bring people into your life and into your children's life that you don't really know? Because how well can you know them? How can you protect them? Is there any emotional harm that'll come to them? See, this is what people need to think of, because here's the deal. If you have children, you brought the children into the world. Whether, you know, they were a surprise and you didn't expect to have children or not, you have a responsibility to your children. Do you take your own gratification above the needs of your children? How do you know how it'll affect them? You know, these are things you need to talk about and you need to think about before you start jumping into anything. And, you know, if social services was not called for valid reasons, you know, if people really thought those children were in danger, then, you know, someone called, but was it Ayalla? Was it Billy? Now, they both said they were concerned. Ayalla says that Billy had to defend this minor in the home. come on, ladies. Come on. I don't know what's really going on there. None of us do. There was really bad blood all the way around. But I'll tell you what, Onision, whatever you are doing is not working. You are losing. You're losing every time you turn around. And whoever is trying to say that Lainey is completely innocent and she needs help and she's got... Come on. She knows something. She knows right from wrong. Does she not? She does. She's not insane. You know, she may have depression and anxiety. Does that make her insane? No. It may affect her judgment. It truly might. She may have such a self-esteem problem that she's willing to deal with things that a person that was confident would never in a million years deal with. Which Lainey has showed us that. I saw the video when she was discussing the relationship with Billy. So we know Lainey, she needs help. She needs to go talk to someone. In my opinion, it would benefit her not only with identity issues, but relationship issues, self-esteem. You know, I'll be the first one to advocate for effective therapy. You know, if you find a therapist and they're good, and there are good ones out there, you know, you shop around. You don't have to take the first one. If you don't make the connection, you don't feel comfortable, go to someone else. But when you're having these kind of life issues and legal issues and financial strain and identity issues, that's a lot. That's a lot. And I don't know. Those people are... Ugh. I don't even know what to say. You guys let me know what you think, because I have no idea. I figured I'd just make the video because it's all going on right now. And you know, there's still... Both of them are young enough where if they get their act together now, marriage counseling... counseling separate first, because I believe they would need to, you know, work on their own individual issues, then come into marriage counseling, because their life does not look enjoyable to me at all, and it must affect the kids. It must. So, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Comment, like, subscribe, and thank you for watching. Alright, everybody, have a good day, good night, good evening, whatever the case may be. I will see you next time. Bye, everyone.